I have such a treat in store for you today. We're going to talk about business development, specifically the challenge that I know you're struggling with. I hear it so much in Be the First progression for Black lawyers, and just in incidental conversations as I'm out and about and meeting more and more of you, is how hard it is to find time for business development when you're so busy and sometimes overwhelmed just doing the day job of doing your actual work. So this is the question I'm going to answer for you. I'm going to give you the simplest, like almost ridiculously simple solution to this question so that you can get on with building your business case for partnership. If you're on the partnership track, or that's something you have in your sights over the next couple of years, or if you are already a partner, it's going to really help you to build your book of business, right? And so as you're required as a partner to bring in your own business, then this is what I share with you today. It's going to make this so much easier. It's going to make it so much more sustainable for you and help you produce better results from your business development activities. So how you know this is going to be super relevant to you is, you know that you need to build your business. You need to build relationships to bring in clients. That could be to bring in clients in the future. It could be to bring in clients right now, urgently. But either way, you know exactly what you need to do, but you're not doing it. So is this you? Do you spend time telling yourself, and by time I mean over and over and over again, telling yourself you need to do more business development. You need to find time for it. You really should be doing it. So you use the word should, you use the word need, and you talk about it a lot. And this can go on for months and months and months, but you don't actually do it. And what you'll notice about this is, if you bring your awareness to how this thought is coming up in your brain, is it just happens at random times in the day. It could just crop up in the middle of while you're working on something, you're in the thick of a deal. It could crop up last thing at night, the way our thoughts, just as we're going to sleep and going to bed, just as we're trying to unwind, then suddenly our brain will be like, oh, right, she's just relaxing now. I can remind her of that thing that she knows she needs to do, or he knows he needs to do, right? So it could crop up last thing at night or first thing in the morning. So you get these random moments in the day when you remember what you should be doing, need to be doing, but yet still as months go by and you're not doing it. Another way to recognize this, the behavior behind this and know you're doing this, is other people are telling you all the time that you need to get on with your business development. This could be in the form of a formal review. It could be incidental comments here and there from those who support you, who want to see you succeed, who are saying, like, you need to be building your business case. Like, are you going out and meeting new clients? Like, you get these reminders from other people as well. But once again, you're still not doing it. And then finally, another way you'll know this is you is if you're on a promotion track. And what's happening is, the closer you get to the deadline when you have to present, say, your business case for partnership in this case, as you get closer and closer to that deadline, you are feeling more and more anxious. So instead of feeling like solid in how strong your business case is, you're feeling more and more anxious because you know you're running out of time to create a solid business case. So whichever one of those, or perhaps all of those, are showing up for you, if this is you, then you are in exactly the right place. And even if you're not on the partnership track right now, by the way, I just want to offer, this is so valuable for you to listen to and learn now. What I'm going to teach you by way of the simplest, like most effective solution for finding time for business development when you're so busy doing everything else and there's so much else going on. You can apply what I teach you in this session to anything you're struggling to find time for, which you will know is really important. You know you need to prioritize and is going to be essential if you're going to progress. So you're still going to get so much value out of this, even if you are not a partner. So don't go away. Now, inspiration for this particular topic came from a client who has had such a great breakthrough as a result of what I'm going to share with you. So she is on the partnership track and she knows the weakest part of her business case for partnership is around the business development. She is being repeatedly told you need to be getting out and focusing on building your relationships, focusing on your BD. This is the weakest bit of your case. This is something you need to prioritize. and she's not doing it week after week after week. So something like sort of 4 or 5, 6 weeks into us working together. So when you join Be the First Progression for Black lawyers, I see you every single week. We coach every week within the group, right? And the reason for that is, as well as teaching you the strategy, the process that will help you ensure you keep progressing and progress to the next level. So what I'm also doing is catching all of the ways in which you are either getting stuck or just falling off track, right? So it's my job not just to show you the way, to show you the path, give you the tools that make progressing along that path easier, but also to keep you on track. So one of the ways in which I could see my client was falling off track or getting stuck was this constant like thinking I should be, telling me, yes, I need to do more business development, but not doing it. And another week going by. So when we decided to really tackle this, so in one of the sessions, I'm like, right, we're solving this right now for you. Okay. I asked her why, right? Why is it that you're not doing what you know you need to do, what you know you should be doing? What's getting in the way? Because she kept saying to me, I know I really need to do it. There's just so much going on. That was the key for me. That was the thing that showed exactly what it was, that if I could just solve for that. And so when you join Be the First, you just know that when there's something that is getting you stuck, I'm going to help you find it, what it is. And then I'm going to focus in on giving you the solution to solve for that so that you can keep going, so that you can do the thing that you need to do and been avoiding doing. So for her, there's so much going on. There's so much getting in the way. I just can't find the time. I delved a little bit deeper, though. It turned out it wasn't just a question of finding the time. What was also going on for my client was the general discomfort that she felt around going out and doing BD. How she said she found it very exhausting. It's not like being an introvert. I hear that from a lot of you. The idea of needing this being a requirement to go out, to build relationships, to convert those relationships to clients. Feeling that that's hard, feeling icky also about it and about some of those conversations. This is something I hear a lot too. So maybe that resonates with you. So there were 2 issues then that we needed to resolve. Number 1 was the not enough time. Number 2 was the discomfort around actually doing the BD itself. Now, I'm going to speak to number 2 first because it's not the subject of this podcast. What I want to do is point you to certainly a video that I have created and a blog that I have written. I will add the link in the show notes. It's called Conversion Conversations or Converting Conversations. And it's about how you convert a relationship that might be in its infancy, right? How you convert that into a client, or a relationship that's even further belong, but where you're getting stuck, where you're finding it difficult to actually say to a client, I can do work for you. Do you want to give me any work? What work do you have coming up? What projects are coming up? Can I help you with that? So I've actually covered this topic before. And so I'm going to point you in the direction of conversion conversations to help you solve for the problem of feeling so much discomfort and reluctance and resistance to actually doing the BD because of how it makes you feel. So coming back then to the first obstacle and challenge for my client, which I know is something that you experience as well, which is the issue of not having enough time. And now I'm going to explain how I helped us to solve for that. Before I do that, let's be clear about why this is so important and so valuable. I understand exactly what you need. It's really, really simple. If only business development could be easy, if only it could be something that you could find time for so that it became something that was also sustainable, right? And if only, therefore, it being easy and you finding time for it, you could build the strongest business case. Or if you're already a partner, you could keep building your book of business. These are the things you want. You want it to be easy, you want it to be sustainable, and you want it to result in more like building your case, a strong business case, and bringing in more clients. That, my friends, is what's on offer for you today if you follow this really simple solution that I give you. And then the process, I'm literally going to walk you through the steps, all the only steps you need to take that are going to help you achieve it, help you find time for business development, even when there's so much going on and you're busy doing your day job. Here's the solution. Are you ready? just designate 1 day a week to business development. That's it. Have a business development day in your calendar every single week. That, my friends, is the very simple way that you can find time for your business development activities. Find time to build your business case, find time to build your book of business. Now, in the case of my client, I'll tell you how it worked for her, and then I'm going to tell you what that looks like, because I know for sure your brain's thinking, but wait, hang on, I haven't got enough time. How am I supposed to just dedicate like 1 day a week? Like, how does that solve the problem? Stay with me. I'm going to explain it all. It's going to become clear. So here's how it looked for my client. Literally, this took about 3 minutes. I asked my client, let's say you dedicated 1 day of every week, the same day every week, to business development. Which day would it be? She's like, oh, well, there isn't any particular day I could do it. I'm busy every day. And obviously her brain was straight in with all of the reasons why this wouldn't work. And I said, but if you had to pick a day, like knowing what you know about the routine and the rhythm of your week, what tends to come up, your busiest days, your most unpredictable days, if you had to pick 1 day, which day would you pick? She said, Thursday. That was it. I'm like, right, Thursday is your new business development day. And by the way, for many of you, you'll be listening and thinking, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Actually, Thursday could be my BD day, because Thursdays I come into the office. For example, I know a lot of you who are working hybridly. Sometimes you're at home, sometimes you're in the office. Thursday's a very common day to be in the office, right? So why not? If you're not sure where to start, make Thursday your business development day. So that's it. She designated that day. And then we looked at, okay, so now what are you free to do? What does that allow you to do? What can happen now that you have one specific day of the week, of every single week, mind? This bit's important. You want to put this in your calendar and have it on repeat. So it's every single Thursday of the week, or whichever day you choose. Here's how you know that this will work. And this is how my client has started to see it working for her. What it does is it makes your business development activities become part of a routine. Okay. So something you don't have to think about. You don't have to like G yourself up to do. You don't have to figure out like when's going to be the best day. And I don't know when I'm going to be free this week or the next week. Like that spinning in like confusion and indecision about when is going to be the right time or the best time to reach out to your client, to meet your client, to go for coffee, to have lunch, to do the business development activities. All of that spinning in indecision around around when you do it is exactly why you keep going week after week, month after month without doing it. So by making it routine, establishing a business development designated day, we eliminate all of that drama, all of that indecision, all of that spinning and when would be good and I don't know and not this week and oh, next week's not looking great either. All of it gone, just like that. So you don't have to think about it. And then what happens is with it in your calendar, by the way, you knowing it happens every Thursday, what you're going to start to do, even those of you who believe that you have no control over your time, that your whole schedule is unpredictable and you can never like be in charge of when you do something. Even if you think that, if you're willing to try this solution, here's what's going to start to happen. Here's what you'll notice. You're going to start to respect Thursdays as your business development day. I'm using the example of Thursdays, obviously, because of my client and because you may want to choose it. If not, just substitute, right, for the day that you do think will work. But you're going to start to respect your designated business development day. What does that look like? It looks like when somebody asks you, can you attend a particular internal meeting or can you do, I don't know, whatever it might be. Whenever you're requested to do something and it lands on a Thursday, you are going to evaluate your availability, your willingness to do it, right? Based on the fact that you know that is the 1 day of the week that you have designated for business development. Of course, some things will come in where you don't have the choice, right, to say no. There could be, that happens to be the day when a deal is closing or when a deadline has come up or when a very important client is, or a client has a meeting, whatever it might be, right? You've got a long list of examples of things that can come up and be non-negotiable, right? Of course, there will be non-negotiables. But as a trend, what you'll start to notice over time is you make much better decisions about when you do things the rest of the week, about what you agree or commit to doing on a Thursday when you know that's the day that you have designated for business development. It's so clever. It will happen almost in spite of you, just because you made the decision to dedicate this one day a week to that activity. And here's the really exciting thing, a lot of you will be at such a level where you actually have an assistant or you share an assistant, and that assistant helps you with your calendar. The fantastic thing about having a designated day is you that now have very clear instructions that you can give to your assistant to help them take over the administrative task of booking in your meetings, your appointments, your coffees, your lunch appointments, right? So for my client, one of the things we tried prior to this point as a way of helping her to really pin down this work and get her BD going, I've spoken to her a couple of times about using her assistant for administrative tasks. I often remind my clients how much they are charged at per hour, right? And if you're a lawyer, then that tends to be quite a high hourly rate. And then I remind them that they are expecting themselves to do very administrative tasks, such as organizing, coordinating a time and a date and a place for where to meet a potential client or where to meet somebody they're building a relationship with. They're doing that at the hourly rate. The cost of that is their hourly rate, okay? Doing administrative tasks when actually the time would be so much better, more valuably invested in doing their actual work, the thing that they have the skill to do, the thing that they are paid to do and charged out to do. So all of that, what that means is when you have really clear directions that you can give to an assistant, it's going to be so much easier to outsource those administrative tasks. My client used to think if I give it to my assistant, she's going to agree to a day I can't do, or she's going to agree to a time and put something in my calendar that's not going to work for me, and I'm going to have to move it, and it's all going to be a real headache and take much more, actually take me more time than if I did it myself. Have you ever heard yourself saying that? I know you do say that. This is something that comes up. Here's a way that you can get away from feeling the need to do all of this stuff yourself and start delegating more, really start using the resources you have. So for my client, what that meant was she could literally say, here are the list of people, okay, that I want to meet. These are the ones I want to meet for a coffee. These are the ones I want to meet for a lunch, whatever it might be. And say, and Thursdays are my business development days. Her assistant was able to just go away and then do the reaching out to usually the assistant of the person that my client wanted to meet. So of course, my client's assistant was able to do all of that back and forth thing and agree dates and times and put them in my client's diary, only ever on a Thursday. Now, of course, there will be exceptions, some exceptions to that. I recognize it could be that there's a client who's never in the office or never in town on a Thursday, and it may be you have to make some adjustments for that, but that will be the exception. And actually what you'll find with over the course of time is some clients will be willing to come and meet you, willing to come in the office. They may even organize their schedule around an appointment date that they have with you. They may be willing to say, oh, right, well, I'm going to meet you on a Thursday, so therefore I'm going to arrange all of my other meetings around that date too. So your clients will end up potentially being so much more flexible about their availability than you believed or expected them to be, which is an added bonus. So the key things to take away then is how just choosing a business development, a designated business development day, and having that be the same day every single week, how that will work is it will make it routine, which means you don't have to think about it. It will make it routine, which means you will start to plan around it and really learn to respect it. And it will make it so much easier to delegate the administrative task involved in going out and meeting people, meeting clients. Okay. How fantastic is that? Doesn't that suddenly melt away so many of the obstacles that are keeping you stuck and make you feel like you can't find time for business development? It's amazing. Okay, so let's look at the process, the steps that I recommend that you follow in order to achieve it. It's super, super simple again. I love giving you these part of there's so much value in just the advice and the solution that I offer you, right? Just knowing what you know and what I've told you so far is so invaluable and could completely turn around your business development activities, right? The level, the degree to which you do it. And if it turns around your business development activities and how much you do, then that could be the difference between you actually making partner or not this year. That could be the difference between how much of a bonus you get as a partner or not this year. So already with the solution, that is so valuable to you. I don't want you to confuse the simplicity of the solution with the value of what is waiting for you if you're willing to try this work and actually implement it. So I'm going to say that already now. And if you stopped listening now, I know you already have so much to go away and do something with, but don't go away. I'm going to give you 3 simple steps, which will help you get started right away. I want you to start on this today. If you are someone who knows you need to be building your business case, out doing business development. If you are a partner who knows you need to be doing more business development, bringing in more clients, I want you to start with this today. And I'm going to make it super simple and doable for you. The first step, step 1, pick your day. You've already done that. When I was talking about my client, talking about a Thursday, I invited you to think about which day it would be. So pick a day. Open up your calendar, right? Look at and get it and think about what the rhythm of your week looks like. Just pick your day. Designate your business development day right now. The second step I want you to take is to tell your PA. Now, I am assuming that you've got an assistant who can help you with this, okay? So I recommend that you tell them, this is my business development day. You make it official, say this is just how it's going to work from now on. So anything else like you want to put in my calendar that's not related to business development, I want you also to think, oh, this is a time that I designated for business development. So involve your assistant in helping you to honor that day. And then give your assistant everything that they need to reach out to your potential clients, the people you want to connect with, build relationships with. Give them everything they need to go out and do that right now. A lot of you already have those names of people you know you want to be reaching out to. And what I want to offer is, even if it's only 2 or 3 people, get started with those 2 or 3 people. Even if it's only one person, start with that one person. Delegate it to your assistant so that they can action and do the administrative work around it. What I don't want you to do is get caught up in the drama of, well, there aren't enough people and I don't really know who I should be meeting. There's a whole piece of work around tracking your relationships, right? And tracking who you're meeting, how often you're seeing them. And that's a separate piece of work that I'm going to help you to organize and to schedule and to do. I'll probably cover that. I'm going to cover that in another podcast. It is something that we will cover when you join Be the First Progression for Black Lawyers. So don't worry, I take care of that as well. The key thing is you don't let any uncertainty or feeling that you don't know enough people, you don't know where to start. Do not let that be the reason you don't get started on this solution. In fact, even if you have nobody on your list that you think you want to meet, I still want you to designate your business development day. Designate it, put it in your calendar, okay? So that's if you've got a PA, you can give your PA everything they need to get those dates in the calendar. If you haven't got a PA, then obviously this is something you will need to do yourself, right? If there isn't anybody available to assist you on this. Do not make this a problem. I don't want you going away from this thinking, oh, well, that solution works if you've got a PA, but it doesn't work if you haven't. Okay, that's just your brain trying to offer you a way out and go back to being comfortable, which, the thought, oh, I know I need to be doing business development, but I don't have enough time. There's a level of comfort in that because it means you avoid doing the business development, right? Which is sometimes very uncomfortable. So don't let your brain take that shortcut or that way out just by the fact that you don't have an assistant right now. You be the one then, okay? Decide that the first activity you do on a Thursday is to send 3 emails, send 5 emails, send 1 email to a person you want to build a relationship with, to a contact, to a potential client. Make that be the first thing you do every single Thursday, if that's your business development day. Okay. So don't be stuck by the PA section, the PA step, which is step 2. You can also be doing that administrative task, but you just make sure that you do that the first thing on that Thursday, you do it yourself. Knowing that it's an administrative task, you want to be as efficient as possible. No sitting there spinning and getting caught up in drama and spending too much time overthinking it. Just get it done. The third step, and this is really key. The third step is the planning the week, adapting the day. Now, if you've been following me at all over the last few months or years, I talk a lot about a key strategy that a key tool, that I offer you in Be the First, Progression for Black Lawyers, is called Plan the Week, Adapt the Day. I know, that's what I call it. It's literally, you do what it says on the tin. It's all part of this concept called time control, which I teach you within the program. It's so effective. What it does is it puts you in control of your time, helps you take control of your time. That's why it's called time control. All right, so coming back to then the part of time control, so the tool of planning the week and adapting the day. I will also reference in the show notes or in the post, if you're watching the video of this, I will also reference a video that I have done on planning the week and adapting the day. I've actually done so much content on that. There's a video, there's another podcast, so I'll reference and include links to as many of those sessions as possible. But as an overview, if you're new to this, here's what I want you to take away, because I don't want you to postpone doing this work thinking you have to go and watch a separate video or thinking that you have to go and listen to a different podcast. Everything I tell you today is enough for you to get started. I've given you step 1, which is to choose your day. I've given you step 2, to delegate it to your PA or make it the first thing you do on a Thursday morning yourself. Then step 3, the planning the week, adapting the day. Here's how that looks. At the beginning of every single week, you want to have a plan for the week. You want to have decided, be clear about what the tasks are that you need to get done that week and when you will do them. So planning the week means looking at your to-do list and getting your to-do list into your calendar, finding a place for it, okay? That's step 1 of planning the week and adapting the day. So you plan the week ahead of time before the week starts, okay? And then what you do at the beginning of every day, you look at what you had planned and then you adapt it as necessary. This allows for all those things that come up that you weren't expecting, okay? It allows for the flexibility that you need in your schedule at certain times because of the nature of this work and how the industry is, okay? This is why planning the week is so good, because it sets a framework, right? It gets all those tasks into your calendar. It gives you a framework, a structure for your week. And then when the unpredictable happens, you're not like in your own brain trying to like figure out how to deal with the unpredictable as well as deal with all the other things that you know you have to do and keeping it all up in your head, driving yourself crazy, feeling overwhelmed. No, it's all in the calendar. It's out of your brain. And then all you have to figure out is this new thing's come in. Where am I going to put it? What do I need to move? So all you need to do is move things. You don't have to think all over again from the start, how am I going to get this all done? This is impossible, which is I know where a lot of you are spending a lot of your time as things come in and there's so much on your plate. So you want to plan the week, and then at the beginning of every day, you adapt the day. Here's what that might look like on your designated business development day. It might look like something coming in from a very important client that means you cannot make your business development appointment that day. Guess what? You can reschedule. You can actually say to your client that you're unable to make it and that you are deeply regretful and sorry that you can't make it. You can literally say sorry and reschedule the appointment. I'm smiling as I say that because this was another area where my client was getting stuck. It was like, oh, but if I can't make it and I've made the appointment, I don't want to be that person who makes an appointment and then has to cancel. It's like, okay, so would you rather be the person who doesn't reach out to your contact, the person you want to build a relationship with? Would you rather be the person who never reaches out to them, who never puts an appointment in the calendar at all for them, who allows weeks, months, maybe even years to go by between like the times when you actually connect with that person. Like, which person do you want to be? The one who's making the effort to reach out and to find time and put something in the calendar and has to maybe occasionally have to cancel, right, and reschedule, or the person who completely ghosts someone, just disappears, never reaches out to them. They never hear from you. Which one do you want to be? I know which one I want to be. I'm pretty sure I know which one you would choose when you see like the difference, what what you're choosing between, right? So it's okay. I want to give you permission. It's okay to say you're going to meet someone, have it in the calendar, and then need to reschedule, okay? And have the reasons for you needing to reschedule and rescheduling it. What I also want to offer, this might be really helpful. Building relationships, there are so many different ways that relationships are built, are maintained, are nurtured, right, are developed. Meeting for coffee face to face, or meeting for a lunch, or agreeing to, I don't know, if you're going to a networking event and agreeing to get together with them at the beginning, at the start, or follow up with them afterwards. These are just some of the ways, some of the tools that you have for building relationships. But relationships are built through visibility. They're built through communication, through contact. Like if somebody just reaches out and says, oh, I haven't seen you for ages, it'd be great to catch up. Can we put something in the diary? That, like, for me, creates this, how can I describe it? It creates almost like a deposit in a bank. It's like I deposit that as a boost to our relationship. I don't quite know how to describe this. I need to give this some thought about what I would call this. But it's like, I don't know, if you had a relationship-ometer, right? So one of those things where like the more you put something in, the higher up the meter goes, okay? And what happens is, if someone reaches out to you, every piece of contact you have with that person, it like makes the relationship ometer. That's a made up thing, by the way, as far as I'm aware. I've never heard that word before. I'm just dreaming on the spot. But it basically ramps it up a bit. It adds something to the relationship. The relationship grows just by virtue of you reaching up to someone. Maybe that's out to someone. Maybe that's the best way to describe it. Just by cropping up in someone's inbox, just by reaching out to them, saying you want to meet, get in touch next time they're in town, can we grab a coffee? That already grows and nurtures the relationship. Yeah, forget all that stuff about relationship-ometers, unless I can figure out a little bit cleaner way of describing that. Stay with just this very clear description that every time you make contact with a potential client or someone you want to build a relationship with, it builds the relationship, just the making contact, all of which means you putting a date in the diary and having to schedule means you have still built the relationship. That has still been a valuable relationship building activity. So no more thinking that you putting a date in the diary and then having to cancel is going to harm the relationship. No, you putting a date in the diary and having to cancel has already improved the relationship. Obviously, the way and the manner in which you cancel is very important. You want to be respectful. You don't want to cancel at the last possible minute. You want to anticipate, like on the day, the morning of, or the day before. It's better actually even the day before, right? To anticipate if you're not going to make the appointment. So how you cancel is obviously important, but the principle is the same. You making the date, then having to cancel builds the relationship, takes it further than you not putting a date in the diary, not reaching out to them at all. I hope that makes sense and has been clear, despite my random diversion into strange concepts like relationship-ometers. Okay, so to recap then, just 3 things you need to do to make the to find the time. That's what we're doing, finding the time for your business development. You pick a day, you tell your PA, or you be your own PA on a Thursday morning, and then you plan the week and adapt the day. That's it. This is what's waiting for you if you're willing to implement. And I'm really emphasizing implement, application of what I teach you, what I show you. If you're willing to implement this and you can do it right now, today, here are all the things. I mean, it's just a disproportionate amount of like progress you're going to make just by instilling this new solution. Okay, here I go. Here they are. There are lots of them. That's why I'm like bracing myself. Number one, I love this, and it's in no particular order. You're really going to raise your self-concept. Okay, so business development is going to stop being something that you think like it makes you groan, it makes you feel anxious, it makes you uncomfortable because you know you should be doing it, but you keep not doing it. Okay, and that makes you feel frustrated and annoyed with yourself. Okay, for not doing it. So what's going to happen is, as you implement this really simple strategy, you are going to start like just having those days, having those appointments that you start booking up, even if you have to cancel them. You are going to raise your self-concept as someone who will do what needs to be done, even if you don't feel like it, even when there is a lot going on. This is what you're going to prove to yourself when you have a designated business day that you then honor, okay? So you will become and start to think about yourself as this person who gets things done even when you're busy. Think about the implications of that for all of the other things in your work, or even in your life, mind you, which you know you should be doing, you feel you can't find the time to do because there's so much going on. If you start to change how you behave in one area, in one way you do something, it then changes who you are and how you behave in so many other areas, in all the other ways you've been getting stuck. So how you think about yourself will be as the person who gets things done even when there's a lot going on. Just think about how that would feel to think about yourself in that way. How differently you would feel and approach your day and your work, how differently you would feel about the next level that you are progressing to and who you will be at that level. Where guess what? There will be potentially more things that you have to find time for, certainly different things you have to find time for, and there will still be a lot going on, potentially more going on at that higher level. So already you're raising your self-concept, who you are, to the level of the person that you want to be and will be when you are promoted to partner, for example. I love that. Raising your self-concept is going to happen as a result of you just designating like one day a week to designating your business development day. That's a lot of B's and D's, by the way. It's not that easy to say. You try it. The second result you're going to get is business development is going to be something that feels sustainable for you. So it stops feeling like this heavy task. When I hear you talking about it, you talk about it as if it's this really heavy task that weighs you down. That's like, it's almost like you carry it around like, I know I need to do it. And it's heavy and it feels hard and you can't see a way to like make it work and be doing it consistently. And one thing about having this designated day every week is it stops it being a really heavy task that your brain can never find time for. And it becomes something that is bite-sized and manageable. Right? And when it's bite-sized and manageable, because, okay, it's only ever going to happen on a Thursday, and the chances are you're not going to necessarily, but I'll come back to this in a moment, have like 10 different business development appointments in one day, and it'll be exhausting and feel overwhelming. It could just be one coffee, right? So bite-sized, so manageable. So when it's bite-sized and it's manageable, that of course means it's going to be easier to do. And when it's easier for you to do, you're going to keep doing it, right? The easier it is, the more likely you'll keep doing it. So that means you're going to like develop this sustainable way of building relationships, of bringing in clients. Because also, let's remember, the process of building relationships and bringing in clients doesn't happen overnight. It actually requires this bite-sized, manageable approach, the small steps done consistently. So by making it easy and doable, we're really setting you up for success by giving you all these micro opportunities to be doing business development. And those micro opportunities being what is required in order for a relationship to build. You think about building relationship with building blocks, right? You need lots of building blocks to put them in place. And so what this designated business development day does is create the space for you to have those building blocks, for you to make those building blocks and keep building, keep building. Okay, the third result you're going to have is, and it's a little bit similar to the self-concept, but slightly with a slight twist to it. What it's going to do is help you become who you need to be to do business development, like on an ongoing basis, and make it part of who you are and what you do in your career. So BD will stop being something that you do as a one-off. If you're someone who is in the process of building your case for partnership, for example, it can feel like this one-off project that you have to do in order to boost that your business case. By having this regular day every week, what you're doing is making it something you do all the time. So what happens is it stops being just attached to one activity. It also, by the way, stops being something you do just because you've been told you need to do it in order to get a chance of making partner. Instead, what it does is it becomes something that you do consistently, and it becomes part of business as usual. That's what I wanted to get at. So the reference to like it impacts who you need to be is really showing you that you need to be a person, especially if you're going into partnership as you progress, who can just build relationships and bring in clients all the time. So you need to be that person, not do the activity once. You just need to be the person who can do that and is able to do that and does that regularly. And so having this designated business development day, right, helps you to become that person. I hope that made sense. The person who is always building relationships, always bringing in business. Another benefit you're going to find when you implement this and you stick with it is you're going to actually achieve so much more in less time. So you're going to save time. All that time that's wasted overthinking your business development, worrying about it, feeling frustrated and guilty that you're not doing enough of it. For a start, all of that is going to go. So that's going to free up headspace and time. But also, because all of your business development happens in one day, what it means is you're going to be able to be really efficient at it. You're going to be able to block your appointments. So blocking your appointments is already going to make you efficient because, well, you're not task switching. So you're not going from being necessarily, like, of course, this will happen sometimes, but the more ingrained this habit becomes, and especially if you are already a partner and at that really senior level, and you have for sure more control over your time, like it's not so much that you have more control over your time, because I know a lot of partners who don't feel they have control over their time. But what I do know at partnership level is you find it easier to prioritize the business development work. And because you find it easier to prioritize, what it means is you're going to have the opportunity to have 2 or 3 business development meetings in one day or more, potentially. So batching your business development means you can just be in the zone of relationship building. And when you're in the zone of doing one task, you do it more efficiently, more effectively, you learn and get better at it more quickly. You're not losing time switching between tasks, switching between being an academic lawyer who knows the lawyer, or being commercial, right, who's trying to help your client achieve what they want to achieve in like impossible circumstances, right? You're not switching between that part of your work, this part of your work, and then being the person that builds relationships, which can be very challenging. Sometimes you will need to do that. But the more you do this, the better you get at it, the more you respect it as a routine, the more you'll be able to batch it together and actually just knock it out of the park. And it will start to feel so seamless and so much easier, right? It'll just come so much more naturally to you. And you'll therefore achieve the result of building relationships in less time by batching it together, because you'll also get better at it. So relationships will build much more quickly. Finally, especially for those of you who are building your business case, who are looking at partnership and that coming up, is you're just going to have a stronger business case. I don't know why I said just, as if it's like not a big deal. Let me rephrase that. You are going to have a stronger business case. Like, you will literally have that result. You know, at the beginning, I said, I know what you want. You want BD to be easier, more doable, more sustainable. And, oh yeah, by the way, you want a stronger business case, or you want more clients. So the point is, because you're being consistent with this business development activity, you're going to build relationships faster. Remember, you're going to be more efficient. You're going to be getting better at it because you're doing it regularly, right? Just through the repetition of it. So you'll build relationships faster. And what that means is you'll convert them to clients more quickly. you're going to convert to clients, convert it to business much more quickly, right? And that, showing you can do that, showing you've actually got a system for building relationships, is going to give you such a strong business case when you go through, when the time comes to present that. And what that means, a compelling business case, of course, is going to make you an irresistible candidate for promotion. I have just listed 5 literally, like, I want to say mind-blowing. When I went through and I was thinking about this podcast and I was like writing down in my notes, like, what's the value of this for my clients? What's the value of this for my listener or for my audience? Like, why would they go to, although it's not like a massive task, right? Just picking a day and then taking those 3 steps to make that day work. How can I incentivize them? Like, what's waiting for them at the other side of doing this work, of following that simple process? And I thought it would be 1 or 2 things. But as I thought about it more and more deeply, as I put myself in your shoes, as I thought about the results and really thought about specific clients who are further along on this journey and who are implementing this work, and what I'm seeing in how they are and how they're showing up, particularly around, I mean, one client I'm thinking about, particularly around their confidence in building relationships and going out and doing this activity. The longer and longer this list got, and more blown away I was. I think that's why it felt mind-blowing. The more blown away I was at quite how quickly the results of doing this work are going to stack up in your favor. Okay, if you are a mid to senior level Black lawyer and you want to progress your career, you're looking at where you want to be in the next 1 to 2 years, and potentially partnership, potentially head of legal, potentially GC, right? If you're even already a partner and you want to build your business book, I want to invite you to join Be the First Progression for Black Lawyers, where this is exactly the kind of thing I help you. I will help you build a strong business case, build a bigger book of business. I've given you an example of just one of the ways, one of the strategies I've tried and tested, and I know are creating results for my clients, which I will teach and bring to you when you join. So enrollment is coming up, the next enrollment. This is for the September 2024 class. At the time of recording, it's the 6th of June. You'll be listening to this podcast some days later. So the next enrollment, I will be opening the doors, receiving applications on the 24th of June. Make sure you add that date to your diary. Monday, the 24th of June, open enrollment for Be the First Progression for Black lawyers, for mid to senior level lawyers who want to progress. If that is you, if that's what you want, you have to be in this room. That's it from me. Thank you so much for your time and your listening. Look in the show notes, look in the post for all of those links. And I will, of course, add a link to the waiting list for the September 2024 enrollment, because what I do is I open up the enrollment sometimes a couple of days earlier. So while the official enrollment is the 24th of June, if you get on the waiting list, then I open up enrollment usually at least 24 hours beforehand, maybe even 48 hours, to those who are on that list. And make sure you get your name down. You've got nothing to lose and you're not obligated to anything. There's no commitment at that stage. All right. Thank you for listening. It has been a pleasure. I'll be back next week as usual. Bye for now. Have a brilliant week.